Hello everybody, it's Stephen Paul from WinExtra on this Easter Monday, which is April the 25th, 2011, bringing you your daily brief of Microsoft news. And how was your weekend so far?
The Easter weekend was pretty entertaining, actually. We had a mate of ours over on Saturday, and we introduced him to Firefly, got him caught up on a couple of episodes of that. And we also got to discover, for the first time, deep-fried Cadbury's cream eggs. Cadbury's cream eggs wrapped in pancake batter, stuck on a skewer, and deep-fried. They are awesome.
Oh my God.
Must try.
Oh.
Terrible for the waistline, terrible for your health. But by God, it's like, oh, it tastes awesome. That and deep-fried Oreos, too, which we also tried.
Wow. Okay. No.
You have to have a bit of fun. You have to try new things.
Yes, of course you do. Of course you do. Yes. Anyway.
Oh. Before we go on any further, let me pull it up here because I had completely forgotten about this, and I've completely forgotten to put it in the show notes as well. Somebody was in contact with us, a guy called Luka Novak, and basically what we want to do is we want to come to you guys, our listeners and our viewers, anybody who might have an interest in e-readers. We want to know about, does anybody know whether or not the Barnes & Noble Nook not only ships over to the EU, we have found some places on like eBay and stuff that you can get it shipped with like an EU adapter, but will the apps and stuff work over there? And of course, can you get support, or is it regionally locked down to the US?
Okay, as a side note, because I've been looking at e-readers, okay, the Barnes & Noble Nook is a nice looking little unit, but you can't buy it online in Canada.
You can if you have a .mil email address.
Whoopee! The other really weird thing is I can buy books, like the hardcover, like paperback books, using PayPal on Barnes & Noble. Love it, okay?
Yes.
But you can't buy the electronic ebooks with PayPal. But
well, it's not PayPal's issue. It's whatever their licensing agreements are, I suppose.
Oh, come on! I
don't know. It's some level of stupidity, I know. But anyway, if anybody has an answer to this, or could, obviously, Luca has pretty much got his heart set on the Nook as opposed to, say, a Kindle. So if you could let us know, 251-281-8730, either a voicemail or a text message. And you can also drop us an email at podcast@winextra.com. That would be awesome. And we'll pass this information on. Thanks.
The big news over the past, 4 or 5 days has been this whole thing with Apple and storing their location history of everywhere you've been for, 6 months to a year. And being able to track yourself, where you've been, or anybody else can get that data and track where you've been.
As long as they've got access to your computer.
Yeah. Well, PC World is out with Microsoft. Windows Phone do not store location history.
Yeah, possibly because Windows Phone 7 is too far behind in the operating system. It doesn't even just keep track of this stuff. I kind of... Well, first off, Windows Phone 7 hasn't been around long enough. It's not doing that kind of tracking stuff anyway. Google does this as well, but the thing with Android is that when you first turn on your phone, it asks you, do you want to anonymously send this information to Google?
Windows Phone 7 does the same thing.
Yeah.
So, from up front, I've kind of laughed at this whole thing, because if it's not the OS itself saying this, okay, at the very beginning, it's the individual apps that are asking you. So, you're giving your permission.
What I laugh at is the amount of people that get bent out of shape by this, okay? Now, first off, Apple, yes, is collecting this information without your permission, okay? But the people who are giving out about this are the very same people who are saying, on Twitter, I'm at such and such a place. They're on Foursquare telling people exactly where they are. You know? Worse than just having it hidden in a text file that ends up on your computer that somebody would actually have to get to your computer in order to access. They're publicly broadcasting their information and then complaining.
Remember over the weekend or over the past week, the Kaspersky antivirus company, the son was kidnapped by, you know. They're suggesting that it was because he was involved with social media and he was posting where he was. It was made it easy for him to be tracked and finally nabbed.
Dude, I'm seriously considering starting a life of crime. Right? I just go around with my phone, be friends with everybody on Foursquare, and just wait until somebody says, you know, that they're somewhere at least an hour away from their home, go in, rob the place, and come out again.
Well, there was that gang in L.A., the kids that were doing that.
Sure, do you remember all the bother about that website? I can't remember what it was called now, but...
Please rob me?
PleaseRobMe.com, yeah, exactly. And all it did was use publicly posted information. Yeah. People were like, oh, this is an invasion of privacy, and oh, you can't do this. And I'm like, you have to sort of realize you can't claim something is private if you're publicly broadcasting it. And so, while Apple is wrong for... maybe keeping this stuff and whatever else they may be doing with it because they didn't ask permission, I think people's reaction to it in this case is
way
very
overblown.
You know?
Yes.
And we'll let you know when Windows Phone 7 is capable of doing this.
Yes, we will. Because we'll be ranting about it, just like everybody else does. Okay, this one from InfoWorld.
Do you want to, before you go on this, do you want to jump down in the show notes? We have 2 more Windows Phone 7 stories, and then we can jump with this one.
All right.
Well, all right. So, as I was just bitching about Windows Phone 7, probably doesn't even have the capability to track you yet, but Mango might.
You mean Windows 7.5?
Yes, as it is now officially called. Mango, Windows Phone OS 7.5. Microsoft, come on. I thought we were dropping the whole
numeric
7.5, 8 moniker from Windows Phone so as not to confuse people. And just to make it really simple, I'm just going to be Windows Phone. Because this Windows Phone OS 7.5 is even more complicated than Windows Phone 7 phone.
Yeah.
Carded.
Okay, now, the thing is, iPhone has some sort of generational identifier, right? Like the iPhone, the original iPhone was just iPhone, right?
Yeah.
iPhone 2, was that not the 3GS?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not an Apple user.
I think it was.
I do know that we're all waiting for iPhone 5, and white iPhones have finally started to appear in a store in London.
So are unicorns, I hear. Anyway.
With your butt. Shoot lasers out of the, I don't know if you saw that video on YouTube the other day. Absolutely awesome. What's his name? He does all the sort of live action shooting. Kevin. Oh, I can't even remember the guy's name now. It will come to me as soon as we're finished recording. I'll remember the guy's name. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. I just find this whole Windows Phone OS 7, 7.5, 8 to be just too confusing. I think Android has it better. Everybody has an Android phone. Yeah. You ask people, you have and the distinction between operating systems and Android is not, yes, it is 2, 2.1, 2.2, 3, whatever the case may be, but they just have a very simple name for it. It's Android and Honeycomb or Eclair. It's much simpler for the lay person.
So Windows Phone Mango.
Windows Phone, maybe not better late than never.
Speaking of Windows Phone 7, there's Phone Dog has I guess it's more of an opinion piece than anything else. Has Windows Phone 7 lost the battle to stagnation?
Very interesting one. Windows Phone 7 has been out, over 6 months now?
Yep.
More?
Yeah.
And we've had, piss poor updates. Mango's not on its way. And it's for an operating system that, while admittedly sleek still lacks many of the core features that you find in older, more established mobile operating system. It needs to be kept fresh, and it's not.
Let's be fair to a certain point. Is this entirely Microsoft's fault, or is this the problem we've run up against, as we did with Nodo, of the carriers?
No. This is also Microsoft's fault, and here's why. Right? Forget the carriers for a moment. Just look at what Microsoft has had slated for release. We had an update to an update to an update for the patcher, so that we could get the first update. And then Mango. That's all that's slated for the entire first year of Windows Phone 7's life.
Yeah, true enough.
That is pathetic.
But does that mean that the phone is stagnated? Just because we don't know what the full roadmap is, or what?
We don't. But that's the thing. We should know what the full roadmap is. Yes, we should
know.
We should know, and we should know that we're getting 10 updates in the coming year. We should know that there's an update coming next week, and that there's one scheduled for 3 weeks after that, and so on and so forth. We should know these things so that they can put the blame firmly on the carriers. But right now, they're blaming the carriers and ignoring the fact that they have nothing to release.
Except Mango.
Mango isn't even slated to come towards the end of the year.
Yes.
Why? Why don't we have Mango right now? Why isn't it being pushed right now? Because right now is not when Mango is needed. 3 months ago is when Mango should have been released.
Yes, I agree with you. I have one of them, and for better or worse, I love Windows Phone 7. I think it's nice. It's great to use. I'm severely disappointed in both Microsoft and the carriers that we're stuck at the Nodo range right now, and when it doesn't need to be that. They should be pumping out updates every couple months.
No, they should be pumping out updates every month. A small incremental update delivered through Zune. Because at the end of the day, these updates really don't affect how it goes on how it operates on the carrier. Since Windows copy and paste affect the carrier's network, it doesn't.
Yeah. Microsoft bragged that this is again. We're going to hop back to the info one, because this one you had a real grimace when you read it this morning. Microsoft bragged that Friday that it had licensed 350 million copies of Windows 7, but that number doesn't even keep up with the total number of PCs sold.
Yeah, this is one of those, to me, examples of kind of arse backwards math. Okay, basically they're saying that there was what was it? I don't know. 260 million PCs shipped, according to various Gartner releases. There's
your first mistake.
Yeah, between July 1st, 2010 and April 22nd, 2010. And if you do the math on how many Windows Phone 7 licenses were shipped, 350 since 2009, it basically means that Windows 7 only shipped on about 67% of new PCs. This math is the kind of ass backwards ongoing idiocy that I see in the tech world all the time that makes me just go, what the fuck were these guys doing when they tried to come up with a story, right? Let's sort of look back at Vista, right? In its first 18 months, Vista shipped 180 million licenses in 18 months, okay? It only shipped on 44% of PCs. Alright, if you want information on this, I have a link in the show notes to an article on The Guardian where they actually worked all this out. Somebody actually did their homework, right? XP. There isn't an 18-month number, but by July 2003, they'd done 130 million XP licenses, right? 70% of those were XP Professional. Basically, what it works out on is that, Vista shipped on Windows 7 has shipped on 67% of PCs. Okay?
Yeah.
Vista shipped on 44%. XP only shipped on 54% in the same time period. So, in all respects,
Windows 7.
except for the longevity that XP has had, Windows 7 is outperforming XP, Vista, and how they can find the problem with this is unreal. And another way to look at the math here, right? He's talking about dates back in 2010 when fucking netbooks were still shipping with XP on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vista, you can still walk into a Best Buy and buy a computer with Vista on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. I know.
I really do wish people would think these things through before writing these posts.
But they don't get page views.
Do.
If you have any thoughts on the numbers and the math, drop us a line at podcast@winextra.com or leave a comment anywhere where you can find us. Or what's the voicemail? I got to scroll back up. Here we go. 251-281-8730, and let us know what you think. Please, we'd appreciate it.
Love to hear from you.
Yes, we do.
And especially, well, obviously, we want your opinions on the numbers. We want your opinions on Mango. And we'd also like to know, as we said at the top of the show, if you have any information on getting the Nook in the EU, which would be wonderful, so we can pass it on to Luca.
So on that note, folks, enjoy your Easter Monday, and Paul and I will see you tomorrow. We'll be back for another edition of Daily Brief, and take care, everybody.
Have a good one, folks.